Hi, my name is Daniel, and I work in communications for NatureMade. And we are launching a new video series to do a deeper dive into human health and also talk about how nutrients can impact our overall health and wellness. Joining me today in our first video is Dr. Susan Mitmesser. She leads our scientific research at NatureMade, not only for our portfolio of products, but also in support of Nourish, which is our new personalized vitamins and supplements subscription service. Thank you, Susan, for joining us. I'm really excited about this.
Yeah, I'm excited to be here. Thanks. Nice
How
to
are you
see you,
doing?
even though it's not in person.
I know. So, we were talking about where to start this conversation, and it seems to make the most sense to dive into the immune system because obviously I think that's top of mind for everyone right now. But, I have a feeling most people don't really know a lot about it. So, just to kind of take a step back and lay some sort of foundation for people in terms of what our immune system is and what it does. So I just figured the best question to start with would be, what is immunity?
So the word immunity really just means the ability to resist something, which is a pretty simple definition. But when you think about it in a biological sense, it's our body's ability to prevent itself from an infection or a disease. And really what that boils down to is it's a complexity of organs and tissues and cells all working together with one common goal to really prevent things from invading your body.
So when I think about like the respiratory system or the cardiovascular system, I could probably, hopefully, name a few things in there that are really key to that. What I don't really know are the different parts of the immune system. So maybe you can kind of share some more information in terms of what parts of our body actually comprise our immune system.
Yeah, I would start to think about the immune system in two primary parts, and one part being the innate immune system, and then the complementary part being the adaptive immune system. And think of the innate immune system as guards that are preventing invaders from coming into your body. So think of it like something that's a barrier. So your skin is part of the innate immune system. You have an acidic pH in your digestive tract, and that's part of the innate immune system. It's acidic enough so it actually kills pathogens going down your GI tract. So those are all parts of the innate immune system, the guards that are not allowing things in. And then complementary to that is the adaptive immune system. And so those are the things that if an invader gets past the guards, the innate immune system first recognizes it as foreign object in the body. Then it produces chemicals and things like white blood cells that fight and kill the invader. And then thirdly, it actually has a memory. So your immune system has a memory in that it almost tags, think of it like a tag on the foreign invader in your body. It tags it with an antibody. So next time, if your body sees that same foreigner or invader, your body knows how to respond to it because it was tagged and previously seen it. So your immune cells then can attack it a bit differently and more robustly.
So arguably, if I had a particular flu strain one year and the next year I was exposed to that again, it got in my body would not only recognize it, but it would be able to fight it more effectively than if it had never encountered it before. Is that the idea?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
So your body's seen it, so it's almost primed your immune system. It has an idea of what the DNA is, and so it can react a bit differently. Absolutely.
Interesting. It sounds like keeping out like the most unwanted guest at a wedding. You got all these people like, manning the entrance and then monitoring the crowd and tagging that person and getting rid of them. So
wait a second. I think I had that guest at dinner one night recently.
Do I know them?
Perhaps you do.
It'll remain nameless. So, one thing that I've always heard from people, and even myself, I guess, but I've always heard people talk about, sort of their regime around supporting their immune system. Some people are like, that's why I drink orange juice every day. Some people are like, well, the minute I feel sick, I take echinacea. Is there any truth or fact behind that? Like, can you share some details in terms of what's the best way to approach supporting your immune system?
I think the best way to think about it is a lot of people do think of it seasonal, right? Your immune system works in seasons.
Yes.
And like any good operating system,
Yeah.
it's working, constantly running, and it's very efficient. And so it's working all the time. Your immune system is not seasonal at all. It works every day, all year long, and it doesn't take a vacation. And so you need to remember that all the stuff that you do on a daily basis, your eating, your exercise, your environmental exposures, all affects your immune system. And so making sure that those are well in place and you're priming your immune system to fight when it is attacked by an invader, you're primed and ready to go.
So it's basically like you're feeding those guards that never go on vacation. Basically.
Exactly.
Okay.
Well, the guards as well as the soldiers inside.
Correct.
Because you want to make sure they're both very heavily armed.
So it's really about sort of bolstering your immune system continuously, right? It's not sort of moments and peaks and valleys. It's like the best way to approach it is to really make sure you're supporting that on a regular basis.
Right, because if your immune system is fighting things all the time, everything that you expose it to, it's
Right.
fighting all the time. And if it's using the energy to do that, and it doesn't have the right components to do that on a consistent basis, then when you are bombarded with something that really gets past the guards and gets in, and the soldiers are having to do their work, then it doesn't have the robustness or all the things that go into the complexity of producing the white blood cells, making sure they multiply and provide antibodies to tag them and remember them.
Okay, wow. I mean, I guess I never really thought about it being as layered as, you know what I mean? Like, I've never really thought about the immune system being that complex, which I don't know why, but I guess I just never really paid attention to it. Is it your immune system that's responding to things as benign as pollen during like allergy season?
It is. And that's actually a good example of part of the innate immune system, the barrier function. So when you are exposed to an allergen and you have a response, a lot of times it produces a mucus. And that mucus is really to help you get rid of the allergen that's gotten into your nasal cavity, as an example, and it's helping to expel that. So that's a barrier function. You just described innate immunity.
That was a really good analogy. I mean, it's probably a gross mental image, but that was actually really helpful. It's like I've never thought about mucus being such a good thing.
Oh, your mucus is your friend.
I feel like we should make that a t-shirt.
Mucus, my friend.
So kind of in the same vein in terms of, we were just talking about this, supporting your immune system, kind of talked about people's regimens and the idea that it should be, you should be bolstering that immune system on a regular basis. So in terms of nutrients, what are the key nutrients to help do that?
There are probably a couple that you're most familiar with. Vitamin C is often associated with immunity. Yeah. And so that's an antioxidant. And it actually, when the white blood cells release a chemical and they start fighting the invaders, and the vitamin C comes along and it helps with that process. Vitamin E is another antioxidant, which most people kind of forget about, but vitamin E is heavily involved in the immune system. Vitamin A and vitamin D. A lot of times people think of vitamin A only for visual acuity or working with your retina, but it's heavily involved in the immune system. And finally, my favorite is zinc. Zinc is really, really involved and critical for a well-functioning immune system.
So zinc is like the silver bullet, if you will. I didn't know that.
Well, I don't think any of them are silver bullets. You need all of them collectively. Yeah, you need all of them collectively to have a well-functioning immune system. But zinc, I think, is the one that is least recognized as helping with the immune system.
That's really interesting. I honestly hadn't really heard about zinc before. I feel like I've only heard about it really honestly since like within the last year. And I think it was like I got sick, I think probably in December. And I remember like reading up and zinc was on the list of things and I was like, oh, okay. I had never really thought about it before.
You obviously don't hang out in the same circles I do, because we talk
We
about that
do
kind of
not
stuff.
hang out in the same parts of the building. That is absolutely true. Because I feel like most of that information would completely go over my head.
You're selling yourself short. You get it. You totally get it.
So we talked about nutrients, we talked about sort of how the immune system works, you know, and kind of that idea of how you support it. I mean, aside from sort of the nutrient piece, what there are other ways to support your immune system. What's the one that people often overlook, in your opinion?
Mm. I would have to say sleep. Sleep is many times overlooked as how it affects the overall body and all your systems, right?
Yeah,
Remember, we sleep to restore our bodies, to repair ourselves,
yeah.
and it especially is important for your immune system. So your cells have time to repair, your body has time to recover. So if you don't have proper sleep, there is a very much a correlation to the effect on your immune system. So get plenty
Wow.
of sleep. Don't
Okay.
sleep to sleep.
I don't think that's going to be an issue, to be honest with you. Although, so here's a question. I don't know if you'll know this. There's such a debate about what's the right amount of sleep. I mean, I typically seem to get between 6 and 7, and I feel rested. But I know a lot of people are all about 8, and that just seems too long. Like I almost feel too tired after a certain amount of sleep.
Yeah, well, we are going to have a session on sleep hygiene in which
Okay.
I hope to address that very question.
Oh, perfect. Well, then we made a note. We will put a pin in that question for the next one,
Absolutely.
uh, which I guess is a good way to sort of end this one. We're going to dive a little bit more into our next video on sort of how all those nutrients work in the body to support the immune system. We'll get into more details there. And that's it. This was really fun talking to you.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I really enjoyed the engagement. No,
Right.
not in person, but it was fun. And thanks for the discussion. I loved
You're
it.
like anybody. I will talk to anybody right now.
Pretty much.
Well, thank you everyone for tuning in for this. I really appreciate it. If you guys are interested in knowing more, we're going to have more videos coming out. If you guys have any questions for us, please DM us or put it in the comments, whatever makes the most sense, and we will address it either in an upcoming video or even, just directly via a post. So thank you very much, and we look forward to talking more about human health and nutrients. Bye.